Hurricane Idalia crashed ashore on Wednesday morning as a powerful Category 3 hurricane at Keaton Beach in Florida's Big Bend region. Soon after landfall, it was reduced to a Category 1 storm as well, but Idalia has lashed the coast with sustained winds of up to 125 miles per hour. It crashed ashore on Wednesday, and soon after it was accompanied by torrential rains and pounding surf as well. Insured property losses in Florida were projected to run close to $9.36 billion. Investment bank UBS said in a research note that was based on preliminary estimates. And Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis has said that hours later that no deaths had been reported from the storm surge, considering the potentially most lethal hazard posed by a major hurricane so far. Let's also listen in to the reactions.
Accordingly, the search and rescue operations have been ongoing from the moment that the storm passed in the hardest hit areas, and they've probably gone through about 70% of the areas that they need to be able to check for people that are in distress. And so far all signs have been positive. There is, of course, a lot of debris to clean up, but we will get working with that with the local communities to make sure that the roads are cleared and people can go back to their lives. As of 6 o'clock today, there are approximately 250,000 power outages reported across the state. Since the storm hit, their power has been restored to approximately 315,000. And that 250,000 number is actually a decline from what it was a few hours ago. We're going to submit the major disaster request. We anticipate that'll be approved based on my discussions with the president, based on Kevin's discussions with FEMA, and we appreciate that. And that's going to be important, particularly when you start talking about some of these reimbursements. These are counties that are fiscally constrained counties, and so they're going to need the support for reimbursement. But when you have situations like this, you could have people that had to flee their homes because of this, to then go in and try to loot somebody's house is really the lowest of the low. And you never know who left and who's back and everything, and so people just need to be very careful about what they're doing, because it may not end up working out well for them in a variety of different.
Worldwide surface ocean temperatures have been exceedingly warm this year, leading scientists to project a more dangerous storm season than originally predicted, specifically in the U.S., where Hurricane Idalia slammed Florida's Gulf Coast. While scientists have not yet determined how or whether climate change is influencing a storm's strength or behavior, there is strong evidence that these devastating storms are getting worse.
I can say fairly confidently that the hurricane that's just made landfall in Florida is wetter than it would have been without climate change.
Kevin Reed is a climate modeling scientist and associate dean at Stony Brook University.
What we're seeing with this storm is similar to what we've seen with recent storms, is that as the storm is approaching land, or as it approached the land, right, it went over really warm sea surface temperatures, which really aided its growth and intensity leading up to landfall.
Hurricanes need two main ingredients: warm ocean water and moist, humid air. In the last 40 years, the ocean has absorbed about 90% of the warming caused by heat-trapping greenhouse gas emissions. Much of this ocean heat is contained near the water's surface, which then evaporates into the atmosphere. This additional heat can fuel a storm's intensity and power stronger winds.
When we look at rapid intensification, this quick change in intensity of a storm over 24-hour periods, there has been work that suggests that it's becoming more likely over the historical record, and that it'll become more of these events will undergo rapid intensification in the future.
Hurricane activity is common for North America from June through November, peaking in September, after a summertime buildup of warm water conditions. However, according to a study published in August in Nature Communications, the first named storms to make U.S. landfall now do so more than 3 weeks earlier than they did in 1900, moving up the start of the hurricane season to May.
Horseshoe Beach is one of the best communities on this coastline to me. I've been all over. I've lived there my whole life, but the people here is like family. This morning before daylight, I was trying to get my boat unhung. I had to turn it around to keep it from hanging up on the seawall, and the boy come by, Tyler Fudge, and he jumped right in there and helped me. And it's just family down here.
I don't think anybody can deny the impact of the climate crisis anymore. Just look around. Historic floods, historic floods. More intense droughts, extreme heat, significant wildfires have caused significant damage like we've never seen before, not only throughout the Hawaiian Islands in the United States, but in Canada and other parts of the world. We've never seen this much fire. And while we're dealing with this latest extreme weather event, I remain laser focused on recovering and rebuilding efforts in Maui. If I can note parenthetically for just a moment, today I'm announcing that $95 million from the bipartisan infrastructure law is on the way to Hawaii to harden the ground power, harden the grid we talk about. When Jill and I visited Maui last week, we saw firsthand the magnitude of the loss. Your lives have been dramatically changed if anybody in Maui is listening. You've lost everything. They lost everything. And we're doing everything we can to move heaven and earth to help you recover, rebuild, and return to your lives. We've already have dedicated $24 million to removal of hazardous material left behind in the fire's wake.